Alan Carter looked out the window of Space Station Harmony. Stars shined in the darkness. He was 52 years old. For 10 years, he had been Earth's main ambassador to the Galactic Council. People knew him for his patience. The other alien species often said this human trait helped humanity find its place among the stars, even though humans were new to space travel. Ambassador, the Zithari want more time for the resource-sharing agreement, said Olivia Winters. She was Alan's helper. Her usually calm face showed worry. This was the 7th delay in 7 months. Alan sighed and ran his hand through his gray hair. How much more time? Another galactic cycle. They say it's because of administrative problems. Again. The resource-sharing agreement started after a disaster at the Proxima Centauri colony. Humans had offered food, medicine, and help to many species hurt by a huge solar flare. The agreement was supposed to be short, just 6 months. After that, the aliens would thank humans and give something back. That was 4 years ago. The Vox people are here too, Olivia added, speaking more quietly. They're talking about the military rules again. Alan's jaw got tight. The Vox, a group of 3 warlike species, had been stopping human ships from moving in neutral areas of space. They claimed it was for safety reasons, but humans had never attacked anyone. They want us to reduce our ships in the Arcturus area by another 30%. Deep in Alan's mind, something broke. It was small but important. Years of being calm and diplomatic started to fail. Schedule both meetings, he said in a steady voice. And Olivia, call Earth Central. Tell them I need to talk to the Secretary General right now. 2 days later, Captain Samantha Reeves of the survey ship Pathfinder was following a distress call. She had been tracking it for 3 days, pushing her ship's engines hard. The call came from a human science base on planet Kepler 438b, a world that scientists thought could be made like Earth someday. Finding broken pieces, Captain, said Navigation Officer George Ellison, his fingers moving quickly over the glowing control panel. They match our base's buildings. Samantha felt sick, with worry. Any life signs? Communications specialist Rebecca Patel shook her head, still looking at her screen. Nothing clear. Wait, I'm picking up emergency signals, many signals, spread across the planet's surface. How many people were at the base? Asked Samantha. 87, answered First Officer Nathan Howard, looking grim, including families. The Pathfinder entered orbit, and everyone went quiet as the screens showed the destruction below. The base, once a hopeful place of research, was in ruins. Buildings had been taken apart piece by piece, valuable equipment stolen. This wasn't a natural disaster. Scans showed Dravner energy signs, said George, referring to an advanced alien species known for keeping to themselves. That can't be, Rebecca whispered. The Dravnir signed the non-interference treaty with us last year. They promised this area would stay neutral territory. Samantha stared at the destroyed base, at the emergency signals representing friends, and their families fighting to stay alive on the surface. Open a secure line to Earth Central, she ordered, her voice steady but cold. Highest priority. Tell them the Dravnir broke the treaty, and tell them. She paused. Tell them we found children's quarters among the destroyed buildings. Back on Earth, the emergency meeting of Earth's Unified Defense Council had been going for 16 hours. Representatives from every major nation sat around the round table. They looked tired and angry. Secretary General Amara Jackson stood at the head of the table, her tall body stiff with tension. The screens around them showed a steady stream of information. The Kepler attack, many treaty violations by 6 different alien species, economic penalties placed on human colonies without proper approval, and the strange disappearances of 3 human deep space research ships. The pattern is clear, said Defense Director William Garcia, his voice cutting through the tense quiet. Each event, when looked at alone, could be called a misunderstanding or a single act of aggression. Together, they show a clear picture of coordinated action against humanity. Admiral Lisa Chen nodded in agreement. They're testing our limits, seeing how much we'll take. The diplomatic team has filed over 200 formal complaints in the past year alone. Not one has received a proper response. Amara looked at Alan Carter, who sat unusually still. In all their years working together, she had never seen the ambassador so cold, so distant. Ambassador Carter, you've pushed for patience and understanding longer than anyone. What do you think now? Alan looked up, his eyes meeting each person around the table before settling on Amara. For 15 years, I've represented humanity believing that patience was our greatest strength in this new frontier. I've advised restraint when others called for action. I've extended trust when evidence suggested caution. He placed a data tablet on the table, sliding it toward the center. This contains my resignation as Chief Ambassador, effective immediately, and my formal recommendation that we activate the Prometheus Protocol. The room went silent. The Prometheus Protocol had been developed in secret during humanity's first 10 years among the stars, a backup plan that many had hoped would never be needed. William's eyebrows shot up. You can't be serious. The diplomatic problems alone. Diplomacy has failed, Alan interrupted, his voice flat. Not because we didn't try hard enough, but because our attempts to cooperate have been systematically exploited. They mistake our patience for weakness, our restraint for fear. A muscle worked in Amara's jaw as she looked around the table. This decision requires everyone to agree. I need to hear from everyone. One by one, the council members gave their positions. The vote was unanimous. Amara straightened her shoulders. Let the record show that on this day humanity has tried all diplomatic options. She took a deep breath. The Prometheus Protocol is now active. God help us all. 3 days after the Prometheus Protocol was activated, the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the Grand Chamber on Alpheus Prime. They argued loudly among themselves, their translation devices working hard to keep up with the heated words. High Counselor Zexatral of the Vox Confederation stood up, using his tall height to quiet the room. The humans have pulled back all their diplomats without telling us why. Their colonies have stopped trading with us. Their ships have vanished from normal routes. This behavior cannot be accepted. We must punish them. The Dravnir representative, Silvek, nodded in agreement. Perhaps this shows what we have long thought, that humans are too emotional for space relations. Their unstable feelings make them unpredictable and dangerous. A soft sound interrupted the meeting. The big doors to the chamber opened, showing a single human, Olivia Winters, who used to help Ambassador Carter. Now she was Earth's only representative. She walked calmly to the center of the chamber. Her footsteps echoed in the sudden quiet. Without saying hello, she turned on a holographic display that grew to fill the huge space above them. It showed the Kepler attack in clear detail. Then it changed to footage of Dravnir ships attacking a human research vessel. Then Zithari officials, secretly taking human aid supplies. Vox military ships blocking human colonies illegally. One piece of damning evidence after another, all carefully documented. Humanity joined this community in good faith, Olivia stated, her voice reaching every corner of the shocked chamber. We shared our technology, our resources, our knowledge. We followed your rules and respected your territories. In return, you have plotted against us, used our goodwill, and mistaken our patience for weakness. She paused, letting her words sink in. As of 1 standard hour ago, humanity has activated the Prometheus Protocol. All diplomatic ties are suspended. All treaties are under review. All trade agreements are temporarily frozen. Zexatral moved forward aggressively. This is outrageous. You cannot. We can and we have. Olivia cut him off. For your information, during this meeting, human forces have taken back the Kepler outpost. The Dravnir occupation force surrendered without casualties once they realized their communications had been compromised. Sounds of disbelief spread through the chamber. The Dravnir were known for their superior communications technology, believed to be unhackable. How is this possible? Demanded Silvek, losing his cool. Your species doesn't have the technological ability to. We lacked nothing but the will to use what we have, Olivia replied coolly. Humanity has kept a technological gap between what we've shared and what we've developed. This was a precaution we hoped would never be necessary. She tapped her wrist device and new data filled the holographic display. Blueprints for advanced propulsion systems, weapons platforms, and defensive technologies that made even the most advanced Council species equipment look primitive. Consider this a demonstration, not a threat. Humanity wants to return to peaceful relations, but we will no longer tolerate exploitation or aggression. You have 3 standard days to acknowledge responsibility for your actions and enter into new, fair negotiations. With that, Olivia turned and walked out of the chamber, leaving behind a room filled with the growing realization of just how badly they had misjudged their newest galactic neighbors. Back on Earth, Admiral Lisa Chen stood in the command center of the North American Defense Complex, watching as data streamed in from across the galaxy. The Prometheus protocol was working perfectly. Phase 1, the strategic withdrawal of all human assets, had been completed within hours of the Council decision. Phase 2, the activation of dormant technology, was now underway. "Status report," she ordered, her voice steady. "Colonel Jake." Russell nodded, his fingers moving across the holographic terminal. "All systems operational, Admiral. The Sol defensive grid is at 100%. Colonial defense systems are online and reporting green status. Our stealth monitoring network has been fully activated and is providing real-time intelligence from all major alien worlds." "And the fleet?" "The hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt have begun launching the reserve fleet. First wave will be fully operational in 48 hours. Second wave in 96. Lisa nodded, studying the strategic display. For decades, humanity had maintained 2 separate technological paths. The public face they showed to the galaxy, and the true extent of their capabilities developed in secret. The aliens had seen only what humans wanted them to see, a newcomer species, somewhat primitive but eager to learn. "Message from Defense Director Garcia," announced Communications Officer Penny Davis. "The Dravnir High Command is requesting an emergency communication channel." "Put them through," Lisa ordered. The main screen flickered, revealing the reptilian features of Supreme Commander Krav Thar of the Dravnir forces. His normally orange scales had paled to a sickly yellow. "Admiral Chen?" he began, his voice less commanding than usual. "There seems to be a misunderstanding regarding recent events." "No misunderstanding at all, Commander," Lisa replied calmly. "Your forces attacked a peaceful research outpost. They targeted civilian structures, including family quarters. This was a clear act of aggression. A rogue element within our military," Kravthar said quickly. "Not sanctioned by our government. We are conducting a full investigation and will punish those responsible." "How convenient," Lisa remarked. "And the 7 other incidents of Dravnir aggression against human interests in the past year, all rogue elements as well?" The alien commanders' scales rippled in what humans had learned was a sign of extreme discomfort. "Admiral, perhaps we could discuss compensation for these unfortunate events?" "We're past that point, Commander. The Prometheus Protocol is not negotiable. Your government, along with all others in the Galactic Council, will acknowledge their actions and enter into new treaty negotiations on Earth's terms. Otherwise, we will consider ourselves in a state of war." Kravthar's eyes widened. "Surely you don't mean the human ships currently in orbit around your homeworld are not a bluff, Commander?" Lisa interrupted. "They've been there for months, cloaked by technology you thought was centuries beyond our capability. We could have destroyed your civilization many times over. Instead, we're offering you a chance to start fresh, with honest diplomacy this time." The alien commander stared in shock, then gave a formal bow. "I will convey your terms to my government immediately." As the communication ended, Lisa turned to her staff. "And so it begins. Monitor all channels. I want to know the moment any other species request communication." Colonel Russell looked up from his station. "Do you think they'll all agree to the new terms?" Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "They don't have much choice. Humanity's patience has run out." 1 week after Olivia Winters shocked the Galactic Council, most alien species had agreed to Earth's terms. They had little choice. Human ships appeared suddenly in their systems, revealing that Earth's technology was far more advanced than anyone had guessed. On the colony world of New Eden, Captain Samantha Reeves supervised the rescue and rebuilding efforts at the Kepler Science Outpost. The Dravenir who had attacked the station were now helping rebuild it, working under human guard. "The medical team reports all survivors are stable," said her first officer, Nathan Howard. He handed her a data pad with the latest updates. "The Dravenir medical specialists are actually helping. Their bone-healing technology is impressive." Samantha nodded. "Keep security tight, but allow them to continue helping. Their government is eager to show good faith." She walked through the ruins of what had been the outpost's main lab. Families had lived here. Children had played in these hallways. The thought still made her blood boil, but she kept her feelings in check. Rebuilding was more important than revenge. A small Dravenir approached her cautiously. Unlike the orange scales of the warrior caste, this one had pale blue scales marking him as a scientist. "Captain Reeves," he said with a slight bow. "I am Dr. Silren. I have a question, if I may." "Go ahead." "The technology you used to disable our communication systems, it should not be possible. Our encryption was thought to be unbreakable." Samantha gave a small smile. "And yet, here we are. My people have studied quantum communications for 300 years. How long have humans been in space? 70 years? How could you advance so quickly?" "We didn't have a choice," Samantha replied simply. "When humanity reached the stars, we found ourselves surrounded by species who had been spacefaring for centuries or millennia. We were the newcomers, the primitives. At least that's what we wanted you to think." The alien tilted his head in confusion. "Human history is filled with stories of technologically superior forces defeating less advanced ones," Samantha continued. "We learned those lessons well. So we showed you what we wanted you to see, a species that was just finding its way in the galaxy, eager to learn and share. Meanwhile, we studied your technologies, improved upon them, and developed our own paths that your people never explored." "A deception," the Dravenir scientist said softly. "A survival strategy," Samantha corrected. "And a good thing, too, considering what happened here." Back on Earth, in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy in Geneva, Alan Carter prepared for the most important meeting of his life. He had been called back from retirement to lead the negotiations for the new interstellar treaties. "The representatives from all 27 species have arrived," Olivia informed him as she entered his office. "They're gathering in the Grand Hall." Alan nodded, straightening his formal diplomatic uniform. "How do they seem?" "Nervous. Subdued. The Zithari delegation is especially quiet." "They should be. The evidence of their theft of humanitarian aid is particularly damning." Alan took a deep breath and walked with Olivia toward the Grand Hall. Unlike the Galactic Council chambers where aliens set the rules, this meeting was taking place on human terms, on human soil. The symbolism was not lost on anyone. As they entered, the hall fell silent. Representatives from across the galaxy stood or sat according to their physiology, watching the humans with new eyes, no longer seeing primitives, but equals. Or perhaps something more dangerous. Alan walked to the central podium and surveyed the gathered delegates. "Thank you all for coming. Today marks a new chapter in galactic relations, one based on mutual respect rather than exploitation." He activated the central display, showing the proposed terms for the new treaties. "As you can see, humanity doesn't seek dominance or revenge. We want fair trade, honest diplomacy, and genuine cultural exchange. We want the peace that was promised to us when we first joined the galactic community." High Counselor Zexatral of the Vox Confederation rose slowly. "These terms seem reasonable, Ambassador Carter, more reasonable than many of us expected given the circumstances. But I must ask, why show such restraint now? You have revealed technology that could easily dominate any single species in this room." Alan smiled slightly. "Because dominance was never our goal, Counselor, and because true strength lies not in conquering others but in building something greater together." He gestured to the document on display. "The new treaty creates a joint defense force with representatives from all species. It establishes fair trade practices with oversight committees. It guarantees the sovereignty of all member worlds while providing mechanisms for genuine cooperation. The Dravnir representative, a new one named Kelvar, spoke up. And what guarantees do we have that humans won't use their hidden technologies against us in the future? The same guarantee you've always had, Alan replied calmly. Our word. The difference is, now you know the consequences of breaking your word to us. Many delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. To show our good faith, Alan continued, humanity will share some of our advanced technologies once the treaties are signed, starting with medical and agricultural innovations that can benefit all species. This caused a stir among the delegates. Access to human technology was a powerful incentive. But understand this clearly, Alan added, his voice taking on a harder edge. The days of exploiting human patience are over. We extend the hand of friendship, but we do so from a position of strength. Any species that violates these new agreements will face consequences. The room was silent as the delegates considered his words. Zextral spoke again. It seems we have much to learn about humans. We mistook your patience for weakness, your willingness to compromise for fear. A costly error. One we can move past, Alan said, his tone softening. Humanity still believes in cooperation, in the exchange of ideas and cultures. We still want to be part of this galactic community, but as equals, not as targets for exploitation. One by one, the representatives of the various species indicated their willingness to sign the new treaties. Some did so eagerly, seeing opportunity in a fresh start. Others more reluctantly, knowing they had little choice. By day's end, a new galactic order had been established. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not as newcomers to be taken advantage of, but as a power to be respected. As the delegates filed out of the hall, Olivia approached Alan. Do you think it will last, this new peace? Alan watched the aliens departing, each processing the day's events in their own way. It will last as long as they remember this day, the day humanity finally lost its patience. 6 months after the signing of the new treaties, the galaxy was a different place. The new rules were working better than many had expected. Trade between species had resumed, but now on fair terms. Scientific cooperation was bringing advances that benefited everyone. Most importantly, there were no more attacks on human outposts. On the rebuilt Kepler Science Station, now 3 times its original size, Dr. Andy Clark watched as human and alien scientists worked side by side. As the new director of interspecies research, he had the job of making sure the cooperation went smoothly. The Zithari biochemists have made a breakthrough, said his assistant, Maria Rodriguez. She handed him a data pad with the latest results. They combined their enzyme technology with our gene therapy methods. The new treatment could cure 7 different diseases across 4 species. Andy nodded with satisfaction. That's exactly the kind of collaboration we hoped for. Make sure the research is shared with all treaty members. Even the Dravnir? Maria asked, her voice hardening slightly. Many humans still had trouble forgiving the species that had attacked the original outpost, especially the Dravnir, Andy replied firmly. The past is behind us, we're building something new here. Across the lab, he noticed a young Dravnir scientist speaking with enthusiasm to a human colleague. The two were examining a complex molecule on a holographic display, pointing and discussing its properties. 6 months ago, such a scene would have been unimaginable. Andy's comm unit beeped. Director Clark, this is security. We have an incoming ship requesting permission to dock. It's the Galactic Council's new High Commissioner. Grant permission and prepare the welcome area. Andy replied. This was an important visit. The new High Commissioner had been chosen to oversee the treaty implementation, and Kepler Station was their first stop on a tour of joint facilities. An hour later, Andy stood in the docking bay as the sleek diplomatic vessel completed its docking procedures. The doors opened to reveal High Commissioner Zextral, formerly of the Vox Confederation. The tall alien had been an unexpected choice for the position, given his species' history of aggression toward humans, but he had shown remarkable adaptability in the new order, and the council had voted unanimously to appoint him. Commissioner Zextrel, welcome to Kepler Station, Andy said with a formal bow. The alien returned the gesture. Director Clark, thank you for hosting my first inspection. This facility represents everything the new treaties stand for. As they walked through the station, Zextrel observed the mixed crews of humans and aliens working together. Remarkable, he commented. Just 1 year ago, many species viewed humans as technological inferiors. Now they eagerly collaborate with you. Fear of our hidden technology isn't why they work with us, Andy replied. It's the results. Our different approaches to science complement each other. The Zithari have biological insights we never considered. The Dravenir understanding of quantum mechanics is truly impressive. By working together, we all advance faster. Zextrel nodded thoughtfully. A perspective my people are still learning to appreciate. The Vox Confederation valued strength above all else. We saw cooperation as weakness. And now? Now we understand that true strength comes in many forms. Humans taught us that lesson thoroughly. They reached the main laboratory, where the breakthrough treatment was being finalized. Scientists from 3 different species worked at various stations, their previous rivalries forgotten in the excitement of discovery. This is why the treaties work, Andy said, gesturing to the scene before them. Not because we forced them on anyone, but because they benefit everyone. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Alan Carter sat in the office of Secretary General Amara Jackson, reviewing the latest reports from across human space. Colonial expansion has increased by 30% since the treaties were signed, Amara noted, scrolling through the data. With alien technology no longer being withheld from us and our own advancements now in the open, humanity is growing faster than ever, Alan nodded. And the aliens? Most have adapted well to the new reality, some more quickly than others. The Dravenir are still paying reparations for the Kepler attack, but they've been surprisingly cooperative. The Zithari returned all diverted, aid supplies, and have offered additional resources as compensation. And the Vox? Amara smiled slightly. Still adjusting. Their military culture makes it harder for them to accept the change in status. But High Commissioner Zextrel's leadership has helped. Having one of their own in such a prominent position eases the transition. Alan leaned back in his chair, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. For years he had carried the burden of humanity's patience, absorbing insult after insult, delay after delay. He had wondered if they were making a mistake by hiding their true capabilities. Now he knew they had made the right choice. We've scheduled the first technology exchange conference for next month, Amara continued. Each species will bring their most advanced non-military technology to share with the others. The scientific community is calling it the greatest cooperative effort in galactic history. And our military technology? Alan asked. Remains our own for now. Trust takes time to build. We've shown them enough to ensure respect, but not everything. Alan nodded in agreement. Humanity had revealed some of its advanced capabilities during the implementation of the Prometheus Protocol, but not all. Some technologies remain secret, a final insurance policy against future betrayal. There's one more thing, Amara said, her expression growing more serious. The deep space exploration vessel Horizon detected signals from beyond the galactic rim. Something is out there, Alan. Something not part of any known species. Alan felt a chill run down his spine. First, contact with a completely new civilization? Possibly, or something else entirely. We've shared the data with our treaty partners. If it is a new contact situation, we'll face it together, as a united galactic community. Alan stood and walked to the window, looking out at the rebuilt galactic embassy. Representatives from dozens of species walked its grounds, the new reality of cooperation already becoming normal. Do you think they'll remember, he asked quietly. Remember what? The day humanity lost its patience. Will they remember the lesson, or will we have to teach it again someday? Amara joined him at the window. I think they'll remember, Alan. Some lessons only need to be taught once. Outside, the sun set on a new era of galactic politics. One where humanity stood as equals among the stars, their patience restored but never to be taken for granted again. 2 years after the Prometheus Protocol changed the galaxy, a new challenge faced the united species. The signal from beyond the galactic rim had grown stronger. It was now clear that something was coming toward known space. The deep space exploration vessel Horizon hovered at the edge of charted territory. Its advanced sensors pointed toward the source of the mysterious signals. Captain Frank Martinez stood on the bridge, studying the data with a mix of excitement and concern. "Analysis is complete, Captain," said Science Officer Karen Willis. "The signals are definitely artificial and coming from multiple sources. We're looking at a fleet of some kind." Frank nodded, his expression serious. "Are they responding to our hails?" "No, sir. But there's something else." Karen brought up a new display. "We've decoded some of their transmissions. They refer to themselves as the Nexus Dominion. From what we can tell, they're a conquering force. They've subjugated at least 3 other civilizations in their home galaxy." Frank felt a chill. This was no friendly first contact. "Time until they reach our galaxy? 6 months at their current speed. Send everything we have to Earth Central. Mark it Priority 1. 1 month later, representatives from all 27 species in the Galactic Council gathered in the emergency session hall on Earth. The mood was tense as Secretary General Amara Jackson took the central podium. "The data is conclusive," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Nexus Dominion is a highly advanced civilization with conquest as their primary goal. Their fleet contains over 300 warships, each more powerful than anything in our combined fleets." Murmurs of fear spread through the gathered delegates. "Can we negotiate with them?" asked the Zithari representative. High Commissioner Zexatral shook his head. "We've tried sending peaceful messages in every known language and format. They respond only with demands for surrender." Alan Carter, serving as special advisor to the Secretary General, stepped forward. "Before the Prometheus Protocol, each of our species might have faced this threat alone or worse, fought each other for safe territory. Now we have a chance if we stand together." "What do you propose?" asked Kelvar of the Dravnir. Alan nodded to Amara, who activated a new holographic display. "Operation Unity," she announced. "A joint defense initiative combining the technology and resources of all 27 species." The display showed plans for integrated defense systems, combined fleet operations, and new weapon technologies that merge the best innovations from multiple species. "Humanity will contribute our most advanced military technology," Alan added, "including systems we've kept in reserve until now." This caused a stir among the delegates. Despite 2 years of cooperation, some had suspected humans still held back their most powerful technologies. "You've been preparing for something like this all along," Zexatral said, his voice reflecting new understanding. Alan nodded. "Humanity's history taught us to always be ready for unexpected threats. The protocols that protected us from exploitation by our neighbors were designed to protect all of us from outside dangers as well." Over the next 5 months, the galaxy transformed into a unified defense force. Shipyards that once built trading vessels now produced warships with combined technologies. Scientists who had competed now worked together to create new defensive systems. Military leaders from all species coordinated their forces under a joint command structure. On the front line, a massive fleet assembled. Ships of all designs from all 27 species formed battle groups, each playing to their unique strengths. At the center of the formation, the human flagship Unity led the defense force. Admiral Lisa Chen stood on the bridge of the Unity, watching as the final ships took their positions. Beside her stood Fleet Commander Kravthar of the Dravnir and Strategic Director Zinlai of the Zithari. "The Nexus Dominion fleet will arrive in 12 hours, Lisa announced to the gathered commanders via holographic conference. "They believe they're facing a disorganized group of separate species. They don't know we stand as one. Each battle group knows their role." Kravthar added, "The combined technologies we've developed give us advantages they cannot expect." "Remember," Lisa concluded, "we're not just fighting for our own worlds. We're fighting for the right of all species to determine their own futures. Together, as the commanders returned to their ships, Xinlai turned to Lisa. 2 years ago, our species were exploiting yours. Now we follow your lead into battle. Life is strange. Lisa smiled slightly. Not strange. Just a lesson learned at the right time. When the Nexus Dominion arrived, they found not easy conquest but a united galaxy waiting for them. The battle was fierce, testing the new alliance to its limits. Dominion ships were powerful, but they had never faced opponents who combined technologies in such unexpected ways. Human stealth systems protected Zithari weapon platforms. Dravenir shields reinforced Vox attack vessels. 27 military traditions merged into something entirely new. From the Bridge of the Unity, Lisa coordinated the defense, using strategies developed by the combined military think tanks of the allied species. Each time the Dominion adapted to one approach, the allied fleet switched to another. After 3 days of fighting, the Dominion fleet began to retreat. Their losses were too heavy, their advantage gone. What they had thought would be an easy conquest had become a decisive defeat. As the last enemy ships fled back toward the galactic rim, cheers erupted across the Allied fleet. Species that had once been bitter rivals now celebrated together. 1 month later, a grand ceremony was held on Earth to honor all those who had fought in the battle. Representatives from all 27 species gathered in Unity Plaza, a new monument built to commemorate the alliance. Alan Carter and Amara Jackson watched as awards were presented to heroes from every species. "Do you think they'll come back?" Amara asked quietly. "The Dominion? Probably, but we'll be ready. And stronger next time." As the ceremony concluded, High Commissioner Zextral approached them, his tall form standing out among the crowd. "I've been reflecting on the past," he said. "How close we came to destroying each other through mistrust and exploitation. If that had happened, the Dominion would have found us divided and conquered us easily." Alan nodded. "Sometimes the universe has a way of teaching the lessons we need to learn." "Indeed," Zextral agreed. "No species has forgotten the day humanity finally lost its patience. But now we remember it not as a day of shame but as the beginning of something greater than any of us could have built alone." Together they watched as human and alien children played in the plaza, too young to remember a time when their species were not allies. For them, unity was not a new idea, but simply the way things were. And in the skies above, the joint patrol fleets kept watch, ready to face whatever new challenges the universe might bring. Together.